This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. This is episode 685. I am your host, Stevie V, alongside the birthday boy himself. We just celebrated last night, Cody Maurice Doggett. How the hell you doing, Cody?
Hello, darling. It's my birthday for the rest of the month. So if you want to send these nudes, come on. Put them in my...
I love it. Yes, we had a super fun celebration last night with your birthday. We went to a Brazilian restaurant. We went out to a space where there was performances, and yeah, we had a good old time. Did you have a good time? How was this morning?
It was fantastic. Girl, it's not only this morning, it's right now as well. But got a little sparkling rosé to
power through this. Yeah,
exactly. I need it. It's just I don't need it.
I love it. Yeah. Happy birthday to you. We had such a great time.
Thank you.
And you're right. When it's your birthday, you got to celebrate for the whole month. And so enjoy it. But great time as always. So much fun. I want to remind everybody that we are doing our summer reads, kind of a book club. And we want you to head over to our Tags Patreon community. Go to patreon.com/Tags Podcast. I've got both of my selections here. I'm starting to read this weekend. I've got Dear America, Notes of an Undocumented Citizen by Jose Antonio Vargas and Larry Kramer's Faggots. Both really good reads. We've got yours, Cody, that you mentioned, but they're all listed over there on our Tags Patreon community, and we can kind of continue the conversation over there. You can just grab a free tier and let us know which book out of all of the hosts. It was Lincoln, myself, and Cody that put our book selections out there, and maybe read more than one of them, and we can just kind of continue to chat away. But I'm excited about this. This will be fun.
Me too.
Yeah.
I need to start mine too. I'm just going to go ahead and dive right on in.
Dive right on in. This is the time of the season. Well, we've got to get into this. Was just horrific when a Colombian gay porn star who goes by Yostin Andre Moquero was convicted of murdering a gay couple, 71-year-old Paul Longworth and 62-year-old Albert Alfonso, in their London flat. And this happened on July 24th. He was just had his day in court. He dismembered their bodies, placed some of the remains in suitcases, and attempted to dispose of them off Bristol's Clifton Suspension Bridge in England. And according to prosecutors, Mosquera had engaged in extreme sexual acts with one of the guys, Alfonso, and then killed the couple. And evidence suggests that he killed Longworth with a hammer before stabbing Alfonso to death after they had sex. And Cody, he was just in court, and he claimed differently. He had actually said in court that together he and one of the other guys murdered the other partner, and that he did it he felt pressure to do it. And prosecutors proved differently, that no, this was all premeditated and that he did this. And he did a strange dance after murdering them and dragging their bodies. It was probably one of the most heinous crimes I've heard of in a long time. When you heard this, what were your thoughts?
Well, him saying that he plotted this with the other partner. Why is the other partner dead? There's so many holes in the story. So I cannot. It's this really harrowing tale, and it just hardly seems real. It just seems like something out of the mind of Ryan Murphy or something like that. It seems like a television show at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and
right.
It is just mind blowing. This man is a sociopath, and because anybody that can do something like this to someone else that they spent months with. He spent life with them. He went on vacations with these people. He had sex with at least one of the partners numerous times. And if you can do that with somebody that you shared life with, then your moral fiber, your moral standing is just below. It's under the ground, basically. So I hope that they throw the book at him. I think that I don't even know what the moral of this, what we can take from this, because, like I said, they spent so much time together. You can't even be like, oh, you can look out for this or that. It's just something that is completely random, and it's a person that's devoid of any moral fiber. So I don't know. It's just really sad.
Yeah, it does remind me of a future TV show that I don't know that we need to watch this because it would just be so gruesome. But apparently, one of the two partners was into a certain type of sex. That's one of the reasons that they hooked up with Mosquito in the first place. And it was kind of a violent sex act. They actually filmed them having sex. And where it went awry for Mosquito was he had this on film hitting the other partner on the head with the hammer. And so he wasn't even smart. He dismembered their body parts, left some of them in the London flat, but chose to take other body parts in huge luggage to this other part of Bristol. It's really bizarre. Many of the detectives were saying that why didn't he just flee the situation and murder them? I mean, if you're trying to get in and just leave the country altogether. And one of the detectives said that had he not done that, they may have never found him. If he had gone back to say where he's from, Colombia, we don't have any. He could have stayed there, extradition there, and so it's very bizarre and just awful that couple found themselves in this situation. And our hearts and souls go to the family members. They interviewed, I was watching one interview, you may have watched it as well. There's a local pub that the couple would often go to, and they said they were really a fun, loving couple that would show up
joking. I saw it.
A lot of jokes. You could find them there any given weekday, just taking a couple pints in, and said that they were just this lovely couple. And so to just horrifically be taken advantage of that way and murdered just what seems senselessly is just beyond. And
so heartbreaking.
It is, I know, but we had to talk about that to start things. Moving on to another couple that is headed for divorce. We mentioned this before, that David Geffen, the billionaire, the record executive, David Geffen, was with he was married, and from paid sex to forced body hair removal, David Geffen's ex just dropped a huge bombshell lawsuit in a nasty divorce from Geffen. And on Tuesday, 32-year-old Michaels, aka David Armstrong, filed a bombshell lawsuit against the 82-year-old billionaire for breach of contract and claimed Geffen exploited him over the years amid accusations of paid sex, alleged drug use, and extremely controlling behavior. This is reported by Variety. And in May, Geffen, who apparently is worth $9 billion, filed for divorce from Michaels after 2 years of marriage and cited irreconcilable differences as the cause of the split. And the couple reportedly did not have a prenup. We talked about that on the show already, But now Michaels is claiming a lot of things. He's claiming that he was forced to, of all things, what were some of the claims? That he had to always be shaved and have no hair on his body. He said that he had to have his teeth done so that he fit into Geffen's lifestyle. He claims that he was forced to have sex and to do illicit drugs, in which he claims he became addicted to certain drugs and had to go to a 12-step program to keep up with Geffen's party lifestyle. This is according to the claims. And but that they met on a particular website where, let me just see if I could find that website.
Seeking arrangements
that Michaels put himself on, and that's where Geffen found him. That originally the relationship was really all about, you do this for me, I will pay for this for you. And then, as the claim goes, according to Michaels, Geffen fell in love with him, proposed to him, they got married. Now we know that, a little bit more about this, but it's hard to feel sorry for either case. I feel like David Geffen should have known better, and now this boy is coming forward and exposing all his dirty laundry. He should have just paid him off, I think, a hefty sum. But I feel like there's more to the story, too, that maybe this Michaels guy was trying to, is not sharing. Because doesn't it just seem like you would get out of the marriage and just pay off the boy? I say boy because and just be done, wipe your hands clean. I feel like this isn't Geffen's first foray at a situation. Now, maybe he didn't marry all other boys, but I don't think either one is really, right in this situation. No,
everybody,
not at all.
I feel like everybody went into this with their eyes wide open, or at least had an inkling of certain expectations, because you do not. I love Pretty Woman as much as the next guy, but you do not go into a Pretty Woman situation and thinking that everything is going to work out like Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. So
thank you.
It doesn't happen all the time. It's just it's a movie.
Yeah, but Richard Gere looked like Richard Gere in that period, and Julia was gorgeous. And I'm sorry, that wasn't that hard to go for Richard Gere. And also the age discrepancy was a lot different than this one.
That's true.
Geffen is what, 80, what does it say? 81 versus 30, early 30s. It's a huge age gap. And then look at them together in the pictures. 50 years younger ex-husband. I mean, Geffen's 82 and the other one's 32.
Yep.
So not quite a Hollywood movie.
It is. It's a Hollywood reality, is what it is. For me, this is clearly a cash grab. I did a lot of thinking about it, and it looks like this Michael guy is taking a page out of like Cassie's book. He saw what happened with that whole Diddy situation, and he saw that Cassie got paid from her trauma from that relationship, and he's like, "Oh, I had trauma too," which I don't deny or I don't doubt, but he's using that as a way for him to garner some money, because in California, I don't think he's getting anything as far as that's concerned, even though they didn't have a prenup. But I think that this is a cash grab, and I am just waiting to see what happens if some of this trauma that he endured, if that means that he is going to be able to make out with some cash.
Yeah, he claims that he was always told that he would be taken care of for the rest of his life.
Oh, girl.
But come on, if you don't have a prenup, the other one doesn't really have a claim. I don't know that he will have a case at the end of the day. Do you? I mean,
I don't. You know what? It just depends, because I feel like he went through a certain amount of pain but that's all relationships. Can I get paid for my ex?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Unless I don't think he was abused, but I do think that he probably got in over his head as far as the drugs were concerned. So I think you're right. I don't think he has a leg to stand on with this.
Yeah, exactly. It's just he should have thought of that before. He also put himself on this site originally, so I don't know. We'll see where this goes, but some lofty
I've been on that site before.
claims. Yeah. Well, on what side?
Ju- Seeking arrangements.
Uh-huh. Oh, you
Yeah.
looking for somebody. Interesting. And you just had a
Really?
birthday. Very interesting.
You know,
Okay. Well,
maybe I was a sugar daddy.
Geffen
No, I
is free right now. You mentioned
wasn't.
that. I heard you guys when I was off. You guys talked about that you're free, and he's now
I don't
single.
know.
So
I think I might be too heavy for him because that
yeah,
guy.
two
I think he
words:
really
prenup. One word.
in which case I get some money because I don't think I think that I'm not his type. First of all, I'm too hairy because I am
Oh
not
yeah,
shaving all this.
you're way too hairy for if that's true under what some of the claims were. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, boo.
So
But you're doing all right on your own.
I know, right?
All right.
That's fine.
Let's stay in controversy because Lavern Cox, we all love and adore Lavern, revealed her ex-boyfriend was a MAGA cop to tease her new show, and it didn't go over well. I think she's coming here to New York, Cody, to
It's
City
gonna be a city
Winery.
Yeah.
And she's going to be telling stories, correct? And
Yeah.
which sounds really cool. It's she's promoting her new one-woman show, Girl, How Did I Get Here? Revealing her ex-boyfriend was a MAGA Republican NYPD cop. And that did not go over very well. She was in the middle of rehearsals. She said, my ex-boyfriend, when we met 5 years ago at the height of the pandemic, he was 26, I was 48. She disclosed for the first time he is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed MAGA Republican voter who is a New York City police officer. She said that we were madly in love. And despite distressing, she did not develop any of his politics. She went to repeat, my ex-boyfriend was 22 years younger than me, hot, MAGA Republican New York police officer. So that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And she claims in a later post that she went off to go. She knew what she was saying. She was promoting her new show. She said the rest of the story would come out in her live show, which is next week. And now I feel like I want to go see the show. That
we gotta almost have to, don't we?
Yeah. She was in rehearsals. She took a break. She wanted to see what the kids were saying, her words. And when she came back, she saw all of these people just up in arms. I think I saw the original statement and the way she stated it. And maybe it was just, I think that word MAGA just rubs people such the wrong way. We've all dated people in the past with different political viewpoints. I can remember back in the 90s, I dated this guy and I looked up on his bookshelf. I went all the way over to visit him in Houston, Texas, from California. And I'll never forget, I was looking up on the bookshelf and there was a biography of Reagan. And I was like, you like Reagan? And I was a little bit, we got into, the thing is, I don't think I would be such mad at it today. It just struck me, and we got into this huge argument that we couldn't get out of this argument that I ended up getting on the first flight home. And
Wow.
we later made up, and we fought about something else later. It just wasn't meant to be. Today, I have Lavern's statements are basically saying that, she's come back and she said, listen, I've always promoted people to talk to other people with different viewpoints. And I say this on my show all the time. I am very independent. I watch a lot of shows that are not, I don't just watch left-leaning shows. I watch this guy, Michael Schmirkanish, every Saturday, and he's very in the middle of the road, and he opens up my mind. My barber I've talked about is the opposite politics of me. I might even invite him to the wedding because he was asking. And he voted for Trump. He voted for Trump. He did not like that I voted for the Mandami, who's the mayoral candidate here. But we have these healthy, fun discussions. I'm kind of with Lavern that I just didn't like maybe how she threw around that MAGA that is such a dog whistle to so many people. They just hate that. They can't say. You and I have got into arguments because you don't like, just because of a whole thing that we don't have time to get into, which I totally disagree with you. But
that's fine. We're allowed to disagree.
Yeah,
You said you like talking to people with different views than you. So
well,
that's
yeah, and I mean, and I still like this person a lot, and it wasn't even this situation. But what do you say to this?
Well, I have a lot of notes on this. Well, first I want to start with I have like a similar experience with this. It wasn't with my ex. His entire family were Republicans. They voted for Trump. My ex did not vote for Trump, but still the dynamic was kind of there. I would go on family visits and things of that nature, and that it was always in the air. My ex would get into arguments with his family all the time over politics. I would not engage because I'm kind of an outsider. So I was kind of in this. I was in this dynamic, but like separated from it. So, and because of their politics, one could assume that, or one could make the jump. It's not a big jump or a leap to think that, or to wonder what their views are socially about gays getting married, things of that nature. There's so many other things that I'm not going to really get into because again, it's a much larger conversation.
Sure.
But in the back of your mind, I feel like I always wondered how they really felt about me and my rights as a human being. So I think that for Lavern, it was a very similar type of situation to where maybe she loved him and he loved her, but his vote would always say and lead her to believe or leave questions open for her to wonder if he saw her as a whole human being. Because him voting for a Republican, that strips queer people of their rights, LGBTQ plus people, transgender people, and he claims to love her. So if he loves her, how can he vote for the party that wants to take away her rights and her bodily autonomy? So I feel like that, for me,
well, it's often not that black and white, sadly, as we saw in the last election, because we know a lot of people that voted for the orange man in office that do believe in our community, that somehow believed in what he was saying about lowering prices, and we could litigate all that. But I think he obviously liked her in many ways and knew she was trans, and so he wasn't against their love. I think she was trying to be provocative, obviously, to get people to come to her show. And she told part of the story. She also claims that, we're not together anymore, and that he didn't sway her to his side. And so I think when it comes to love, this could be a possible story. I think using that word MAGA in a video clip to try and promote her show, and saying that word MAGA was just the wrong choice at the time, and thinking that nobody would really be up in arms over it, which clearly they were. If I watched it, I frowned up here in my forehead when I saw that, because she was just kind of la 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 telling the story. I just was like, but I just think it was a tactic that did not go over well. But I do like her response on it, and I think she gave a good response back. And I don't think anybody should be within our community up in arms over her. She gets to tell a story. And that's why I don't and your face is already making me like a little bit like boiling, because it's like people can no longer say anything. Why am I making you boil?
I shouldn't be making you boil.
But because I feel like you're going to say is just going to be like, you don't like nobody can say anything about another side.
I know, but I have my thoughts on this, and I'm going to express them to you.
But it can make me boil.
I'm hearing what you're saying. I think that as far as she's concerned, in this situation is concerned, you can have differing viewpoints, but when it comes to my rights, that is where I draw the line. And that's the end of the story for me personally, because I think that when you get in that voting booth and you make a decision that can affect me and as a human being and how I can live my life freely, then that is because, like, whether we like it or not, they are stripping people of their rights. And if you can get in the voting booth and vote for that, then I don't know what to tell you. I think that this is completely, it's absent-minded for people to think that they can separate themselves from the stripping of another person's rights. Just because
you're saying how you feel if this were happening to you. I would probably feel similarly too. If somebody, I would not be probably dating somebody. I'm just saying people getting all up in arms and bent out of shape on something she said. Take yourself out of it. And just, I feel like people are wrongly up in arms. I hope people can get over it, because I just think she's being honest. It's a story. I liked her rhetoric that she came back with. Take yourself out of it and just talk about her. Do you think that people are going to be like, okay, fine, with Lavern, we get it, and move on? Or do you think that people are going to be up in arms? And that's where I don't like when people are just like, she's telling a story. This is her story. It's not you. It's her story.
I get that. And I'm not mad at her. I think that, like you said, this is her story. She did what she did for love. And I don't know if I really do believe that they had a love story. And I think, honestly, from what I have read, because I did a little bit more research on this story, because I just think she's so engaging. And she said when they broke up that something moral is the reason that she got disillusioned, and that is the reason that they broke up. So I think that maybe it finally became the nail in the coffin, this thing, that it actually boiled up to a certain level. But that's just conjecture. I have no idea. I don't know this lady.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like their age difference was a huge thing, and that this was just a period and like a really hot love affair, which sometimes when they're so hot and you're so from different backgrounds, that it could just be what it was. And I do said, somebody, Doug, watching us live right now, says, I think she's just trying to sell tickets. And she really did say that. So you're actually right. She says that. I was trying to tell a story. You'll have to hear the whole rest of the story. She was trying to be provocative to sell tickets. I think for the most part, she really even admitted that. And it somewhat went awry for her, but I love her. And to me, I just think people get over it and go see her show, and you'll hear her whole story. And we don't all have to agree with, just because you wouldn't do it. It's just, you never know until you're in a situation. So like when I was dating this guy that had the, Reagan book, but I left. I mean, it was like sitting right there, and I was like, oh my God. I mean, and in many ways, Reagan at the time had to do so much with our community, because it had to do with not recognizing AIDS, not even saying the word AIDS, not doing anything showing empathy for the community.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
We were losing people left and right, so it was pretty huge at that time, and a similar story. So
I don't know if I've ever dated a Republican, though. I'm not out here actively dodging them, especially before all of this Trump shit. I don't think that I even thought of anything as far as a Republican. I knew that they had different views for me, but I don't think that it was the same type of feeling that I have about Republicans and Trump right now, mainly all because of him.
Well, let us know how you feel. You can always talk back to the show. We love to hear it. We'll give our handles at the end of the show. Well, just on episode 684, we were talking about a lot of different things like soft swapping. Soft swapping is a group of people that Gen Z has named this soft swapping, where basically You have rules like you don't have penetrative sex, but you might play around with your friends. And you can listen to episode 684. Then we were talking about banksing, which that one really is a Gen Z term, and it takes after the iconic artist Banksy, and it's basically saying that it's a slow way to end a relationship where you pull back. You don't have the nerve to really say that it's over, but through your actions and pulling away, it basically you end the relationship, and really not in a good way. Would you not agree with me on that one?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, it's been done to me, and it wasn't fun.
Yeah,
I've done it before too. So yeah, it's all about how you would navigate the end, basically.
And now we're talking about a new term called micro cheating. How to spot the signs and what to do according to dating experts. So, is it cheating? Micro cheating? That's what people want to know. And it's basically, what is micro cheating and where did the term originate? Have you ever asked for someone's number and saved it in your phone under a different name? Or do you find yourself flirting with friends and then feeling the need to delete it? Even if you've never followed through, this is if you're in a relationship, right?
Yes.
Even followed through and gotten physical with other people, what you're doing are some of the many ways someone can micro cheat. So micro cheating is when a partner engages in intimate, non-physical, and often online behaviors with people outside of their relationship that leads to a slow erosion of trust and psychological safety within the relationship. So there was a lot. I think micro cheating can be a huge issue because for me, I feel like open relationships, depending on how you define those, can often just be about sex. Micro cheating, sharing little messages with somebody else, carrying on with somebody online, flirting with somebody at work. There's I forget what show I'm watching where I feel, and just like that. Sarah Jessica Parker, Nicole, what's her name?
Ari Parker?
Nicole Ari Parker's character is micro cheating currently on the current episodes, and just like that in my mind, because she had to find somebody new to work on her documentary, and it's this hot guy, and the husband saw and said, "This is what your new colleague looks like." I mean, he's really hot. And she's admitted to Charlotte that she has a crush on him and that she thinks about him sometimes. And so she is micro cheating. This is actually, I can't believe I thought of this right now, because it's a perfect example of what micro cheating is. And I think it's far worse than, yes, it's carrying on, and I don't think, and it could lead to banksing soon. Maybe even soft swapping. But what are your thoughts on micro cheating? Is it a real thing? Have you seen that? And what are your thoughts?
I don't know if I'm guilty of micro cheating. I probably am. I'm guilty of a lot of stuff. No. I think it's real. I think that in certain situations, I think there's a line that I would have in my relationship as far as this is concerned, because I do think that flirting is fine. Especially as long as it's not in front of me, I don't care. But know the time and place and when this is acceptable. I think that it's completely natural for people to flirt with other people at any time. But I do think that this whole online stuff, sending pictures, having flirty DMs, things of that nature, I think that can get a little bit touchy and can lead down a very slippery slope as far as cheating is concerned, because if you're trying to hide things from your partner, saving somebody else's name in your phone under a different name is just diabolical. I have never even thought of doing anything like that.
Right? I know.
Who thinks of these things? I mean, I do say people's names in my phone to remind me of who they are. Like, I got a James Hot Ass in my phone, or a Nick.
Oh yeah, I used to have all those names in my phone for sure. I mean, the other day I was looking at my phone and I asked Diego, I said, do you know who this person was? Is this the security person at the Eagle? Because we're inviting him to the wedding. And so and he's like, I think so. And turns out it was. And so it was all good. But yeah, not changing the names. And yeah, here's some things that, what behaviors qualify as micro cheating? All right. One, a therapist looked at this. Texting or DMing someone in a secretive manner to the point where the one micro cheating is hiding these behaviors from their partner. Regularly fantasizing about someone else and emotionally distancing from your partner. Another one, confiding in someone else about your relationship problems instead of your partner. Flirting just for fun with someone at work, school, or socially.
Liking, that's harmless.
Yeah, I think flirting is fun, and that's a little too much, right? I mean, yeah. I agree. Let's take that one out. We need some of those sound effects in this show. I'm going to start bringing some of those in.
I don't know.
Liking old or suggestive photos of someone you find attractive. Yeah, that's right
on the line for me. I'm like, and then like the comments, like, "Ooh, it's so hot, baby," or something like that. I think that like as long as because I like other people's pictures too, and sometimes I make comments about it, but like I try not to, if I'm in a relationship, I try not to make like sexually suggestive things. I try and say, this is a beautiful picture, something that can be ambiguous and can't necessarily be construed as sexual. Does that make sense?
It does. I don't do that. First of all, I'm not always on social media, but when I am, I'm trying to find either my favorite celebrities that I follow and my friends and liking and really paying attention to what they're posting. So there's not always a lot of time, but I'm not, if I see somebody that I find hot, great. But, you know, it is what it is. But I'm not going to comment on it because I feel like that just opens up Pandora's box to, I don't want to go down there. Keeping a dating app profile active just to see what's out there.
Girl. Guilty.
Yeah, I remember.
But I can tell you, so I was thinking about this the other day, since we're on this topic, since it came up again, I can tell you that when I was doing it, I was not talking to other people. I remember because I was looking through Grindr the other day and I would star people that God, that's just bad. But I wasn't talking
when to you were in your relationship.
Yeah. Well, no, we were broken up, but when I was in my relationship, no. Yeah, I was in the relationship and I know it's bad. I'll never do it again.
Well, you know,
I learned my lesson.
Signs. You don't take it how you take it. Let me just read a couple more. Keeping a dating app profile active, we said. Deleting messages or clearing chats to hide interactions. Yeah, you should be able to show your phone to your partner and without having to delete a message, I feel. Saving, as Diego laughs in the background over here, lying about who you're texting or hanging out with. Ooh, yeah, these are not good, right?
Yeah.
Dressing up more than usual when you know you'll see a certain person. You have to watch in just like that because it's, if you want a clear picture, it's micro cheating what she's doing, and it's like totally this. So yeah,
well,
love it.
Fab.
Exactly. Anybody saying anything that we need to read before we move on, Cody?
Alejandro from Miami is in the building. So hi, Alejandro.
Hey, Alejandro.
And James goes, James hot ass, is that me? And I said, maybe. It might be you.
I love it. Oh my goodness. This is really fun. Somebody wrote and Queerty picked it up and they just asked the question because they want people to write in. What is your go-to romantic gesture and why? So we're going from micro cheating, now we're going the other direction. And I like this one. We got to mix it up here. What is your go-to romantic gesture and why? And somebody wrote as the first comment, good old tried and true flowers, sometimes balloons. I just got some flowers today from Diego, and they're sitting on the table. And I think before we even knew we were doing this story, and I love it. But I will tell you, flowers to me are. Early on when we were dating, I remember I was leaving town. I was going away for quite a minute, and we had just gotten together as a couple. And I looked up where he worked because I didn't know exactly the address, found out that address, and I sent a dozen roses to his place of employment. And they picked them up, and he was blushing red. And
I
he had to
remember
put, yeah. And I just thought I wanted to secure this relationship at that time. And I wanted to make sure he knew. And to me, sending red roses at that time, I asked a few people, asked my sister, asked a few people. And even though he was so embarrassed, it made an impression. And here we are today, getting married. So apparently it worked. But what is your most romantic gesture? Is it something as simple as flowers, or do you have something that you do?
I think that flowers is a big one for me too, because they just make the home fresh, and then you can, every time you walk past, because we just have a vase next to the door. Every time you walk next to the door, past the door, you see the flowers, you're reminded, and they just make you feel more all warm and fuzzy inside. Another thing is food. I'm a big foodie. And whenever I cook for somebody or I order them food, I make sure they're fed. I feel like that is a very big love language for me. If I make sure that you're fed, that means that I really, really care about you. So I think that's a big one too.
That's a really good one. Especially if I cook,
because cooking is a lot of work, honey.
Cooking for somebody is such a beautiful thing. I think also taking somebody out, actually, oftentimes we always, as men, we go Dutch, and I'm all here for that. But I think making an impression on somebody and flipping the bill, I think, can also be a nice gesture too, to somebody to say, hey, I asked you out, I really like you, and I'm willing to take care of this. Really shows that you are not in a Geffen way. We're talking about a dinner, but just, yeah, I didn't say like, hey, but I think that's always a good gesture that can be kind of actually romantic at times too. Doug, watching us live, says, I have a culinary arts degree. Oh my God. So I would make a meal for them. Yeah, often that is the way to people's soul. I love cooking right now. We've been cooking up a storm. We're going to cook after this show, and and we found our way to kind of cook together, and that's romantic. But yeah, I think I love that question. Like, what's your kind of go-to on romance and letting somebody know that you really like them? And I think that's a really good one. We got to talk about this because Megyn Kelly, yuck, I can't stand her. But she is, for those of you that don't know, I think she was on Fox News for years and years when she got fired. She's notorious for interviewing President Trump back in the day and really challenging him, remember? And now she's on his good side. She has her own show. I think it's on YouTube. I'm not sure. But she just slammed, of all people, Jennifer Lopez, because Jennifer Lopez is doing her tour, saying in this really steamy Jennifer Lopez type sequence, I'll post it on tagspodcast.com. It's just a really beautiful but sexy and hot dance moment with a partner dancer, and that's pretty erotic, but I mean, not crazy. Megyn Kelly called it, so she's a soft porn star now, she said. What else did she say? She's a soft porn star now. Great choices is what she said.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, great choices. This is her brand. This is all pop stars' brand in general, to be sexy. I mean, right now you have a single out, which we should remind everybody, Cody Maurice's brand new single, I Don't Want to Fight. And on the artwork, it's pretty provocative and suggestive. And I think it's hot, as it should be. And why is she picking this moment now to call out Jennifer Lopez, which is interesting. We could make our assumptions on that, but is it ageist? Is it the fact that she's a Latina? Is it, I mean, Britney Spears has been doing this. Madonna has been doing it since, eons. Janet Jackson. I mean, we could go on and on and on. Why do you think she chose to pick on her and call it, and really demean a woman and call it soft porn?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a soft porn artist over here. Use what you get. Use what you got to get what you want at the end of the day. That's what my mom always told me. So, yeah, I think she's just jealous. Look at Megyn Kelly, and she wishes that she could be as hot and liberated as J-Lo is. So I think that this is just pure jealousy, and she needs to go sit down somewhere, because the Puerto Rican princess, the queen of Puerto Rico, she's not going nowhere, and she's going to continue to live this this lifestyle of being liberated until she's in the grave. I feel like she is the modern day and like epitome of what it says to be like fully comfortable with your body. So I think that she should just continue to do what she do, and Megyn Kelly can go shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Well stated. Okay, moving on. There is a show that I'm not proud that I watched, but it's on Bravo, called The Valley, and it's a iteration of Vanderpump Rules, and it's set in the Valley of all places. Well, there is a gay character on there. They're not characters because it's reality TV. Zach Wickman is his name, and on the show, he admitted that he went and got Scrotox. Well, what is Scrotox? And we had our own good doctor, the Chris Bustamante, on our show before, who does Scrotox. In this episode that continues to have life because it just came up on the season finale just yesterday, they go into an office, and he brings one of the straight characters on to have Scrotox as well. And it's basically, if you think of your ball sack, it's taking out all of those wrinkles that often can look a little shriveled up, but it's also relaxing the balls too. So if we talk about Chris Bustamante, who's Injector Chris, who's been on our show, he looked at Boomer Banks and told the story that he looked at Boomer Banks's huge tool that it is and said, your balls don't match your dick. Remember that conversation?
I remember.
I remember. The balls were maybe a little bit smaller, and from an aesthetic, according to Injector Chris, he felt the balls needed to be a little bit like lower hanging and a little bit more fuller to match the girth and size that is of Boomer Banks. And so the interesting thing about this is when this guy Zach on the reality show, The Valley, brought it up to the straight guy ended up doing it. But when they brought it up to the rest of the cast members, the male, everybody was like aghast and think, why would anybody do that? Including when Zach was on his confessional talking about it. One of the producers in the background said, it's going to hang like that as you get older. Why would you want to accelerate that process? And they don't get it. Straight people, this is where straight people don't get it. Now, I'm not saying you need to do this. I don't need to do this. You've often accused me of being at the naked beach and dragging in the sand. And so I'm just saying, I love a nice hanging ball sack, and one that is nice and smooth and bigger and that matches the penis length. But what do you think about this Scrotox? Is it like, first of all, how much does it cost? And can we get a deal with Injector Chris? But
we need to call him right after this show.
Yeah.
No, this is a good thing. I feel like, we can all use a little bit more aesthetically pleasing in a lot of areas. But you know what? If it's going to be near your balls, why not? Especially if people are going to be seeing it a lot. So then why not make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing? I think that Scrotox is the new Botox, and that we should just get into it.
I think so too. And as a lot has to do with when you're just hanging out naked too. So
yeah,
whether you're at the naked beach like Cody and I go to, or you're simply getting up after a fun night and going to the bathroom, people are looking, and you want things to be
People
kind
looking
of
to be in the bathroom. Oh no!
as you're getting up, walking to the bathroom. And so it's just, it's all part of the aesthetic. And I think I'm here for it. Scrotox. And I love that it took a gay man and Injector Chris to really talk about this. And straight people, just don't worry about it if you don't understand it.
And let us see your balls.
Lighten up. Exactly. All right. Well, this was a crazy one because a recent Reddit, by the way, we are always here to give you sex and relationship advice. You can always reach us. Go to tagspodcast.com. We'll give our handles at the end of this show. This was one, and there was a couple, but this one in particular that related to putting somebody at risk was entitled, "Am I Putting My Husband at Risk of HIV?" We are open and we use PrEP. However, my husband now has decided to use only PrEP on demand. For people that don't know what that means, is if you don't want to take it daily, studies have shown that you can, if you know you're going to have sex on Friday, you will double up the dosages 2 days before. There's a whole recipe behind it where you do it before and after the actual sex hookup. But you have to know when the sex is actually happening. So he goes on to say, as he is taking other medication for other stuff and doesn't want to take too many pills regularly, and he does not want to hook up too much with other guys, I, on the other side, am always super horny and have regular hookups. I take PrEP every day. My husband intends to still have sex with me without PrEP and only use it on demand with other guys. I tried to talk him out of it. Let's say I have condomless sex with a guy, and a few hours later my husband is horny and has also condomless sex with me. Am I putting him at risk? And there's an edit for clarity. With my husband, I only bottom, and with other guys, I'm a top. I think you just have to be honest with him and tell him where you're at with it. And I think the fact that you're taking it daily is doing the right thing in preventing 99% of HIV infections in your situation. I think you're probably pretty safe. Do you think he's putting him at risk?
No, not at all. The science is there. Just make sure that you're taking it as it's prescribed. And as long as you do that, you should be pretty safe. Like you said, it's 99%. I'm trying to think of something else to say here that you haven't already said. But I think that as long as they're staying communicative as far with their needs and what is actually going on, I think then it'll be fine. I had something else to say, but I forgot what it was. Go ahead.
Well, if you think maybe this will spark your memory. We had a lot of fun last night, y'all. But this one was kind of related because somebody else wrote, "Feel like an STD hub." They write, "I've always been very anxious about STDs. For a long time, I was monogamous and opened my long-term relationship just 6 months ago. A month ago, started taking PrEP and DoxyPep and they've been having unprotected sex. After only a month, I was diagnosed with anal warts and then Mpox. What are the chances?" Well, then his partner got gonorrhea. And now he feels like, are we just an STD hub? I feel so ashamed and disgusted. I don't have any idea how we got both. And I'm waiting until 2 weeks to see if he also got gonorrhea as well. So, wow. I think if both of you are going to be sexually active, in the first situation, I think he just has to talk to his partner and say, "Hey, I'm a little concerned with this, but the facts show this, that PrEP is 99% effective. How do you want to proceed with this?" And in this situation, if they're both open and they're both just having so much fun, good for them. But then I think they really need to be on their PrEP and they need to both be taking DoxyPep. And, he mentioned Mpox. DoxyPep won't cover that. That's just sort of an anomaly that he got that, I think. But
he didn't get vaccinated, from what I understand. So there's that. So he probably needs to get vaccinated he probably already has the antibodies in his body now. So never mind. He probably won't get it again. Sorry, that's
But
not nice.
are they just passing this stuff around, or do they just need
Girl,
to get? They just need to get tested a lot more often. They need to have a lot more
there. And that was what I was going to
conversations.
say last time.
Okay, good. Say it.
That you did, yeah. That as long as they're getting tested regularly, then I feel like this is something that they can keep under control. So you're 100% right. I also think that they need to make sure they cover all their bases. The warts, I feel like I haven't heard about anal warts in a long time, and I feel like that is a kind of a not a fluke, but it's something that I feel like is less, you're less likely to encounter more so. And HPV, which is something they also mention, I think is a little bit more like common. I feel like a lot of people, I think they said 1 in 4.
Well, to your point, because I've done a lot of talking and research with Dr. Goldstein, the two that you just mentioned, anal warts and HPV, are actually related. They actually occur together, and many people have HPV. It's just, it's hard to find people that don't have that. And that's why Dr. Goldstein recommends, if you can still today get that HPV vaccination, that sadly most insurance don't cover. And it is a procedure that you have to vaccinate yourself and take space. It's like 3 shots. And I did it several years ago with him, but anal warts can appear, and there's something that you shouldn't be scared of. But it's why, if you are going to be of a certain age and you are going to have fun anal intercourse, you should go see a proctologist to see, because many people have them and they don't even know, and they could be just in there, and it's nothing to be scared of. It's not like, ooh, that's awful, but there are things you can be taking. One of them is Valtrex, and they just occur due to HPV, and so they're kind of naturally occurring. But with that being said, go then do your due diligence and find a proctologist if you can, and seek that. Oh my gosh. We've got to move on to our final segment that we'd love to talk about, and it's produced by Straight Up Gay Porn. I put it in the link if you're watching us live, and it's Thirst Trap. Recap. Who took the best photo out of these not suitable for work performers? 14 gay porn stars took shots this week, and it's our job on a typically audio podcast to describe who and why we picked the one we picked. Who did you pick and why, Cody?
I picked Caio Verón.
Of course you did.
How could I not? This picture is gorgeous. He's completely naked. He's got on a necklace. He's in a bathtub he's in front of a bathtub. And the bath itself, the tile is beautiful. It's black. And there's some water glistening behind him. And he's got the longest, fattest dick that I have seen in a long time.
With a nice vein. He's uncut. And he has a nice tan line as well.
He's so beautiful and brown and delicious, and he's so cute. So yeah, he gets my vote for this week.
Caio Verón. Okay, mine goes to, well, I could not be like hitting the head with that one. I had to go with Chirac.
You know what? I was voting for him at first, but I
love Chirac. I was fortunate a few years ago to meet him at an adult performer contest, and he was gracious enough to take a picture with me side by side. He was so nice. I mean, he's so rough in his videos. He was really nice and gracious, and put his arm around me, and we took this great picture. And that goes a long way when you meet some of these performers in real life. And I love all his videos, but he's grabbing his cock, which is super thick and meaty, and he has Baba tattooed on his finger knuckles, which is really sexy. And it's also that camera angle where you look up, you shoot upwards. He's got a great beard, and what he's known for being very dominant. He looks that way with that wife beater on. He gets my vote for this week. In fact, I'm going to vote for him right this second. Who do you vote for? Who are people voting for, Cody? Well, we have a few minutes.
Voting for Sizzle, who's sitting on a toilet with his legs in the air. Caio Verón from Bryce. And James Hart says Daniel Zambrano. So let's look at Daniel Zambrano. I don't have a second to look at Daniel Zambrano.
Well, Mr. Kent and Derek Spears currently are the top pick, but
They are
Kyle,
so hot.
and they are. I typically don't like the coupley thing, but I like this one. Caio Veron, who you voted for, is number 2 at 18.79%. Sizzle's down there in the middle. Chirac is towards the bottom. I always put the ones at the bottom. But that's okay. Bottom. I love it bottom. James Hart watching us live says Daniel Zambrano for me. I love that. So much fun. Thanks for playing. Yes. I'll post this on tagspodcast.com, or more importantly, go to our Tags Patreon community where you can grab a free tier and you get behind the scenes content. You can watch this show on there. You can listen to it and all kinds of fun stuff. Plus get our book club. Go to patreon.com/Tags Podcast. And you can follow Cody and get his brand new single, I Don't Want to Fight, wherever you get your music, out now. But follow him on the gram at Mr. Maurice. Follow him on Blue Sky at the same handle at Mr. Maurice. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Thanks, live virtual audience.